My favorite comedian is Dave Chappelle. I think he's most people's favorite, right? Dave Chappelle is probably one of the funniest man in history of comedy. Second favorite is without a doubt Louis C.K. I love Louis C.K. His comedy specials, his stand up. I love his stand up. He's such a funny guy, and his delivery is magnificent. Magnificent. I wanted to say magnificenco, like that. But I don't know what's the right word. Anyway, he was on Bad Friends, which is a podcast on YouTube. I love that podcast. Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee is probably the greatest podcast duo in the history of podcasts. And it is one of my favorite podcasts, which isn't to say much because I don't watch podcasts anymore like I used to. But if anything in my life that I have done consistently is definitely me watching and listening to Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino podcast, the Bad Friends. He was on there. Louis C.K. was on there on their podcast to promote a novel. He wrote a novel apparently, and apparently it's also very shitty. I haven't read it because I don't read. I mean, I'm sure you guys have guessed due to the lack of intelligence from my side. He said it's very bad. I read a couple of reviews on it on Google, and they said it's pretty shitty. It was really disappointing. I'm sad for him. I really want him to succeed and get back on the peak like he used to be, and start doing more stand up. I'm sure he's working on things. After the incident, he was working on like mostly underground things. Obviously, I don't know what he said he was doing theater. I don't know what that means, but he was on there promoting his novel called Ingram, and people are saying it's pretty shitty. It's really messed up. I feel nothing but sympathy for the guy, and I know that a lot of people think he's a creep for what he did, but I blame the bitches. Here's the thing. I blame the bitches. Obviously not all bitches, but in that particular scenario, like if you haven't heard what happened, basically Louis C.K. was exposed for exposing himself in front of women.
I'm a good father, I recycle, and I masturbate. And I'm proud of it. And God's happy. And later I'm going to masturbate and I'm going to think about you.
That worked for him, right? Actresses. And the thing was, they're adults. I'm an adult. That's frustrates me so much because there's this narrative about treating women equally, which is absolutely insane to me. What do you mean equal? Like, no, that's not right. But okay, fine. Yet you don't want to hold them accountable. It's like crazy shit to me. They stood there and watched a man masturbate when they could have left. Like, unless they were paralyzed, like they had the choice to walk out and say no to that. I mean, is the job really that worth it? To stand there and watch this man masturbate? I mean, if it is, then you passed the test, you got the job. But otherwise, if you're saying, oh, well, the power dynamic, I mean, obviously they couldn't have just walked away. That was probably the greatest opportunity they ever had in their lives to work for Louis C.K. and to be on TV and whatever. But the minute he said that I'm going to masturbate in front of you now, they had the advantage to say no. And if you fire me for it, I'm going to tell everybody what you just said and suggested. And they could have literally made their career and hold them, basically ransom for saying that. But no, they decided to stay there and then they complain that they stood there to watch a man masturbate. I don't know, man. I just think it's unfair. Honestly, I don't care. Shit, I think it's unfair, for real. It's like when women go out with strangers, celebrities, to their hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not women that were drugged, not like Bill Cosby or whatever. I'm talking about, women who consciously left with a celebrity, a total stranger, in 2 o'clock in the morning to their hotel room, thinking they're gonna play checkers. Like, no, that's the whole thing. You're gonna have sex, right? That's what's expected by that. And then say that they were assaulted. It's like crazy to me that that's even a case. It's like, how is that a case? Because nobody knows what really happened behind that door. And what's crazier is that you believe the woman just because she's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Where's the equal treatment there? It's like, it could be false. It could be an entire lie. And I know, that's why they have investigations. No. What kind of investigations? There's none. A scratch on their neck, a little bruise here or there. You ever heard of rough sex? It's something that really is real. People have it all the time. I don't know. I just think that's stupid, honestly. It's absolutely dumb. And I think people, very likely, well, not very likely, but there's a chance that the man is absolutely innocent and he just ruined the innocent man's life. It's like crazy. Anyway, Louis CK, I hope the best for you. I really hope you do a lot of more stand-ups and maybe put out another special, because you're great and you're funny as shit. And that is not to justify his actions. That's not like I don't want to hold him accountable because I'm biased. Absolutely not. That's not the reason. I genuinely think the thing that happened to him is unfair, because they're adults. They could have left. They could have said no, and they could have held him ransom for suggesting what he did, for saying it out loud. So they had the opportunity to do that as well, but they chose, as grown adults do, to stay there and watch him do it. So this is going to be very hard to believe, because you don't really notice it in the video, but I'm fat. I'm like really, really fat. I'm not as fat as a sumo wrestler. I mean, those guys, you could replace a wrecking ball with those guys. I mean, maybe you could replace like a small wrecking ball with me. Like, instead of bringing down a building, I could probably bring down like a tree house. Like, I'm fat as a elephant on a keto diet. I'm pretty fat. Like, this is the heaviest I have ever been in my life, and I was almost always heavy, but I lost weight. I'm like, Jonah Hill. I would lose weight, then gain it back over and over and over again. But this time, I'm a little over 300 pounds. I'm pretty freaking big. But only recently I started to realize it's a very big problem in my life, my weight. And it's not because of my apnea, where I stop breathing for about a minute, or my loud snoring, where my neighbors from 2 states away are calling me like, shut the up. No, it's because I choke every time I eat a meal, or anything for that matter. I choke like 3 to 4 times, like quite literally. It gets stuck because of all that fat in my neck, and obviously because I lack the patience to chew my food properly, and I also lack teeth. But because, again, I'm just fat, very fat, and I choke and I have to spit it out, and it's like every time to get that shit out of my neck, because it's just stuck there due to the amount of fat surrounding my throat. So I started going back to the gym. I also got these, like I got the keto diet thing, and I'm like drinking one of these a day with a bunch of food, because it says eat it, best to use with a meal. I got the whey protein, which I do drink almost every day with a gallon of ice cream. I got my C4, for my pre-workout, to get, to go to the gym, to at least drive there, to have that strength to drive there. But then by the time I get there, it's usually, it's depleted. I have no energy left, but I'm trying my best to get back at it. That's all I wanted to say, and I appreciate if you guys support me on that. And, like this video, maybe that'll probably help. For sure it will. Pray for me. Pray for me, guys. Are you a devoted father and a devoted husband to a family that don't even respect you? They're insufferable. They don't listen to anything you say. They make fun of you in front of your face. We're here to put an end to that. Over here at Sharia for All, by the way, my name is Mick O'Neill, and I'm here to provide a service so unique, so transcendent, a service that will change your life for the better, and your family's life, your children's life, and your wife. All you got to do is bring him here. And we exist in every state in the United States, buddy. We're every city, major city in the United States, okay? You bring him to Sharia for All, and we provide this service. We discipline them for, yes, I said discipline because we know you thought of it. Because of the restrictions in the United States, the unfair restrictions in the United States, you're hesitant to do it yourself because you might end up in jail. That is unfair. So we provide that service for you. We take your family and take them to a different country where it's allowed to fairly discipline your kids and your wife. And we quite literally lynch them, beat the living shit out of them until they're submitting not to us, but to you. That's what we do for you. Exactly what you want to do, but can't do. And believe it or not, a lot of families in the United States, they're disrespectful to their fathers and husbands. But we're here to change that for you for a very small fee. Doesn't cost much. I mean, how can I bring my family to you? They're not gonna come willingly. You tell them you're going to a place that's pretty fun. Why wouldn't they listen? For at least, because you provided something. Because that's how they look at you. You're giving them something. Right? I mean, take you a place you can have fun. That's all they want from you in the first place. It's just take them to places to have fun. But in Sharia for All, we're going to make you fun. We're going to let you have fun because your wife, she's not nagging anymore. When you're out with your friends, she's not asking where you've been and when you're coming back. When you get home, the meal is ready. She's begging you to allow her to rub your feet. That's what we do for you. Making your dreams come true. You deserve this. Just bring them over. I promise you. Your whole family is going to be happier even. Your entire life is going to change for the better. You deserve it, buddy. You do. Don't hesitate.